My name is Arun Jagtiani, and I'm a proud St. Maarten. In a few short weeks, our country is going to be heading to the polls to elect 15 new members to Parliament. There's 126 candidates from 9 different political parties that are contesting this election, and I think the entire voting population can benefit from knowing a little bit more about who these candidates are. Over the next few days, I'm going to interview a few new faces and a few political veterans. So join me, St. Maarten, and let's talk politics. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Talking Politics with Arun. I'm joined today by the energetic, the powerful, and the well-known Tamara Leonard. She is the number 3 candidate on the United People's Party list. Thank you for joining us today, Tamara.
First of all, to God be the glory, and thank you for having me, Arun. It's an honor to sit here and share with you.
Thank you. And now, for the viewers that may not know, you are currently a member of Parliament.
I am.
And you were elected to Parliament on your first time campaigning, which I think is a powerful statement to make.
Yes, I think it has a lot to do with preparing yourself for the task. You know, people have to know that you are working towards that and recognize, they need to be able to recognize themselves in you, and then it shouldn't be an issue. I didn't just get up one day and decide, okay, I'm doing this.
Right, and you know, it's interesting, this is only your second time contesting an election in a relatively short time, but I think of you as a veteran on the political scene already. Well,
it has a lot to do with the fact that, like I said before, you know, you prepare yourself for it, so once you get into it, you get into it, you know. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to sit a full term and then have this conversation where I would be able to share, you know, so much, but it has a lot to do with the fact that we do not have a mature politician contesting. The level of the maturity of our politicians has to grow.
Very interesting. That's a powerful statement. So from the 2 years that you've been serving as a member of Parliament, first I guess within the ruling party and now as a member of the opposition, what are some of the important lessons you've learned, and how is this better preparing you moving forward?
You know, first of all, I have to admit, you know, I am a peaceful person, and I always take the peace approach, and I've learned that in this race you cannot be, you leave yourself vulnerable to getting jabs, you know, in this arena. I think what we have is, and I'll go back, we need a more mature politician so that across the board after election we get into working together for country. What you have is people that are basically seeking for self, and the promises that they have made to people during campaign that they have to make sure get executed, and once that doesn't happen, then you have things like what we experienced in the last campaign. Trust is a very big factor.
Sure.
You know, you can't trust, but you know what, the truth is, if you can't trust people before, don't expect to be able to trust them when you get inside the Parliament.
Sure.
And basically, one of the major lessons that I've learned is that you got to be brave. It has to always be about the people. It cannot be about self, and it cannot be about your team. It cannot be just about the 15 parliamentarians. Your decisions has to be based on the people and what's going to benefit them and their future.
Yes, yes, well said. And we're here to talk politics.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into it. Let's talk about some of the hot, controversial topics that are making headlines these days.
Okay.
First one that comes to mind, the dump.
Okay. I believe that the dump is, I think the dump situation is one where every party should be held accountable for. Everyone has had an opportunity to do something about it. One of the issues that I have with, for example, and I'm going to speak about my captain, one of the issues what I think happen is as soon as he's ready to make a decision to get something happen, boom, government does fall. Yeah. Because the controversial things, the hot topics are things that's going to get you, you know, stripes, going to get you a badge for getting it done. Yes. So as soon as you get too close to getting that done, here comes, you know, the immature politicians joining together, throwing on the government, and then you can't meet the target, you know. The hospital is another perfect example. If you check the 2 years ago, no one had in their manifesto, no one had a part of their campaign talking about a hospital.
Yes. Yes.
It was only the United People's Party and specifically the captain, you know, and then suddenly everything is put in place. I think one of the things is, and Lord, I might get a little tap on my hand for this one, is that it was already in the works, and it was to a place where he could have come public and said, well, hey, here where we are, these are the steps that has already been taken, and we're going to move forward. And I think that he was holding back on that because it was too early into us starting to serve.
Sure.
So, you know, you get all your stuff done so that when you do start to drop it out, it could be one after the next. So what ended up happening, though, is we end up imploding because we as a team knew what he was doing and knew that it was getting to that point of execution. So they used the optimal time to be able to crash that. And what you have happening now, labeled as accomplished, should be finalized, because what really is taking place is they are finalizing what was already in motion. And that's the truth. And then when you look, again, I'll go on the hospital for a minute. When you look at the cost, you know, everyone is talking about it was 100 million when it was the United People's Party, or for lack of even Theo Heiliger.
Yes.
But now that it's being done by the new genius in town, it becomes 60 million or whatever the numbers are, but you save a whole bunch of millions apparently. But what is not being said is that the things that are going to make the hospital money has been removed from the situation. So what you're going to have is just a regular hospital to take care of people, to handle emergencies with better facilities and a more upgraded system. But we have to learn that there has to be a business aspect to it, as everywhere else in the world, where the hospital needs to start making money. You see, the hospital is not a place that's going to generate money on its own. It's a place that is, it's health, it's emergency, it's healthcare. So that is something that will never be making money. But when you add elements to it like oncology, we would be the only one in this region right here outside of Guadeloupe and those places that would be able to give chemotherapy and radiology and those type of things. When you take that away, which is a big chunk of the money, then of course it's going to be cheaper. When you take away the aspects where you are going to now rent out spaces to doctors who can come here and now finally we can get a piece of the whole cosmetic surgery aspect, that was taken away. You know, so all the things that were going to make you money. You got places like Colombia whose economy strives on, besides the other stuff,
yes, medical tourism,
body sculpting, and that's medical tourism. So when you take the business element away from it, where the country would then get to make some money, of course it's going to be cheaper. But cheaper is what's in their mind. You know, we have to start thinking on a broader scale. And if we do not have people in place that can truly understand that we need to start generating new revenue, we are going to be stuck in the place that we are today.
So, you know, there's a saying, the devil lies in the details.
Of course.
And I think here you've touched on something very, very interesting. You've gone a little deeper than the headline.
But
you've got to read the fine print in between.
The veteran do that. They use that. You see, back in the day, Arun, the way politics works is the people came up, you gave them whatever they wanted, you know, and they go and they vote for you, and then they are quiet until the next election. This generation is a different day and age. You know, you can't say you're going to do something and do something else and think you're going to get away with it. I'm a social media junkie, you know, so are you. But the point of the matter is they come at you. They are looking at you. They are paying attention. They are holding you accountable. So you have to do what you said you're going to do.
Of course, there's no hiding. Everything's out in the open in this day and age with technology. Absolutely. So, something you touched on, and I don't want to give you another slap on the wrist, but I want to bring it up.
A lot of slaps.
I think one of the criticisms of your leader, the captain, Mr. Theo Heiliger, would be that once elected, oftentimes he doesn't communicate enough back to the people. And you alluded to that slightly with the hospital situation. Is this something perhaps that you've spoken of internally within the UP team, and is it something that you plan to address in the future, or perhaps it's not a fair criticism of him?
You know, that's a two-part, and I have to be plainly honest, you know.
Please.
I am a communicator. So my every move, I like knowing. And when I don't like something, everybody knows I don't like it. If I like something, you will know because I'm hot behind it. I think the captain is so focused on getting things done. You know, the whole communication aspect to make sure, keep you up to date is something that he need. You know, there's room for opportunity. You know, he can work on improving that aspect. But he is somebody that is focused on, you know, there's an infection, that's a problem, let's get it out, let's clean it out, let's fix it, let's move on. He's about building up this country. What he needs is what he has now. He has a team now where he's going to be the project man, and then you have people who's going to make sure that the livelihood of the project and that which is supposed to benefit the people of this country will now couple with him to do that. I think that's where now he's even more of a force to be reckoned with, because he has now a team that will handle the communication aspect, that will handle to make sure, for example, one of the many things that he has proven is, for example, the hospital and not the hospital, the fire and ambulance building.
Yes.
You know, so we have brand new, we are up to date on par with the rest of the world, but we have people working in these departments that are complaining. Firefighters are stuck on the same strike for the last 9 years. Those higher up the food chain having the same issues. So, you know, well, it was a very nice building and the inside not handled, you know, it does not solve the issue.
Correct.
But what my captain definitely has now is a team where he got a building on lock. He have to meet the maintenance and make sure that that's taken care of. And now he has a team with doctors. We have medical officials. We have people in real estate. We have people in tourism. So what he has now is the facility and the team to make sure that the life of it, there's longevity, and that the health of the projects are taken care of, and the people ultimately will benefit from this.
Okay. What is the likelihood, you think, of UP getting a full mandate, or do you think chances are it's going to be another coalition situation?
I think if we can finally get to a place where we get our people to go out and vote, it is important, you know.
Yes.
If we can get our people to go out and vote, the more people go out to vote, the better chances we will have. I'm going to be realistic and say that I do not necessarily foresee it being a full out mandate. I am not one of those people either who wants all the power, you know. I'm not like that. So I don't think it has so much to do with the full out mandate. I think it has to do with stability. So I think what we need is the mature politician, gone elected official who understands that this is not about them, their families, their pockets, or be re-elected the next term.
You've got to get past that.
This is about stability and making sure our country is exposed to the proper marketing that we are supposed to have, so that we can get back the tourists that we've lost, and add to that, bring a more prestige tourist. As a matter of fact, we need to start bringing here, you know.
Yes.
To get to Sinbad, they land here and then go Sinbad. We need to get them to land here and stay here. And I think I know we have the potential.
Absolutely.
We have the potential, and we have the great minds that can put it together. We just need to make sure that the people go out and vote and elect responsibly. Do not elect for someone who gave you a piece of land and made it possible for you to get a piece of land. Do not go out and vote for somebody who is going to use the power of cash to get you in. Think about it. What's in it for them? When I give $1, I want a return on that investment, Arun. So
Well
when
said.
someone gives you money, gives you land, gives you car, fix your bar, fix your roof, any of those things to be re-elected or to be elected for the first time, that's a problem. That tells you that the first chance they get, they are going to sell you out too. You have sold your voice. You cannot. We have people who have applied for land a year ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago. But people who just applied March, April, May, suddenly you are first on the list. Be an honorable person to yourself first. Karma. Live by it. Know that if someone else was pushed out so that you could get in, you will be pushed out at some point when you may need it most.
I couldn't say it better. And I just want to touch on that. People at St. Maarten, don't sell your vote.
No.
Keep your integrity. And I think Tamara has really hit on that in a powerful, powerful way. Let's talk about after the election day. Okay. Now, the wheeling and dealing is happening, assuming there's no flat-out mandate for any party. Is there somebody you would prefer to form a coalition with? Is there a particular party out there or candidate out there that you would be more inclined to form a coalition with than another?
I am inclined to work with anyone who is mature, anyone who understands that we have to be transparent and leave the people know what's happening, anyone who's interested in being brave and knowing that there are times you're going to have to go against your own, just that the people benefit from this. And you have to be steadfast to know when you don't get your way, you don't jump ship. You stay course, you stand in the midst of the storm and have faith that it will get better. But don't throw down the government and cost the country millions. And lastly, I want to work with people that are honorable. I want to work with people who do not have a problem saying, no, that does not feel right in the gut, I am not doing it. I want to work with people who's going to say, you know something, this is wrong. I am not going to partake in this. We have to find another way to do it. Yeah, and I want to work with people who are mature, who have the people at
integrity,
heart and not their pockets at heart. Those are the people I want to work
wow.
with. And we have quite a few of them on all the parties. But
Absolutely.
there are a few that we just need to get out of the system. They have been expired. Their time had passed. I think it's time that we go ahead and make sure that we elect the people that have, and I'm not saying get rid of all the old ones, don't get me wrong, because we are going to need people with experience to continue pushing us forward.
We need that collective mix.
But you have those seats where people just occupying the seat. They're just occupants that need to go. Straight up.
Wow, very powerful. Another thing I want to touch on, speaking of powerful, what about the lack of power that's happening within our community, referring to GB?
I like how you phrase that. I think GB is also one of those, kind of like the dump, another one of those situations. It was a matter of, you know, what's sad is I don't know all the facts of this, so don't quote me exact. But I remember when we were in power with the government, we were in government, so to say,
yes.
And the generators were going to be bought. There was a big rumor came out that who wasn't going to make a commission from who was going to make a commission on it. And so that just died of a natural death. What we need is somebody who's going to say, listen, I don't care what the people say. We need proper light. Buy the generators. You know, why would you say, do not buy the generators out of the reserves that we have, use that money to give to government to help balance their budget, and then take a loan and buy the equipment that you need? No. And furthermore, we need to start heading into another direction. Everyone around the world is going green. Everyone around the world is going with the solar panels and the different
I was trying to get
things.
that question out.
How about we head for that direction? But that's going to require
energy.
Alternative energy. That's going to require getting some young brains into the positions that are necessary, getting young brain into the necessary positions to make the necessary decisions that is going to be brave and not have to worry about what everyone has to say.
So is the UP looking at ways of diversifying GB's way of producing energy?
Definitely. And if you go to our app, download our app, you will see the manifesto and you will read right in there all the things that we have planned.
Where can they find the app? And
the app is on, I know for sure, I'm an Apple girl, so it's on app. It's on the app store from Apple.
Sure.
But for those that have, you know, the other brands like Android and Samsung and those, I think there is some link or something. You can contact Alston, you know, or Grisha. They will be able to tell you how to get
And you have the information on Facebook as well? There's a UP
There's
Facebook
also
page?
a UP Facebook page.
Okay.
Our manifesto is there for everyone to see, and it includes the alternative energy. It includes so many different things that we want to
what about the topic of cannabis? I got to throw this out there. And I know when we were in Parliament several months back and speaking on this topic, you felt like a breath of fresh air, at least on your commentary. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, your position, and also what is the party's position on this topic, recreational and medicinal?
I would speak on, as far as recreational, I think that is something that has to be properly researched. We need to do your due diligence. We need to make sure how you can keep a control of those things. I am more on the medical aspect of it, and I know for a fact that, you know, once ago you couldn't get me to say nothing positive about marijuana. You would swear marijuana was a man who had harmed me. I hated marijuana, you know. But now, ever since I've conquered that beast, you know, and
God bless you.
And to God be the glory. One of the things that helped me through the pain, because the pain is the issue, you know, battling and fighting it was one thing. I knew I was going to be good. The pain is a part of it that really worked me, and I have to admit that once I was introduced to the medical aspect in the form of the syringe, it's very thick. I diluted it in the oil so that it wouldn't be as strong, but the pure aspect of it, that's what helped me through, and that's something that I would vote for. And once we have things in place that is going to, even for the recreational part, let me tell you something. You are going to make money and you're going to disarm the criminal. You understand? Once you do your checks and your balances and you do your due diligence and you put all the things in place that has to be in place. I mean, we are no third world country. Right. We are not. And then someone made a statement like, so what? Are we going to be now driving around high? Don't look now. It's 5 minutes to midnight. They are driving around high. It's happening
anyway, right?
You understand? So we have to find a way. And our law conflicts, because if the cops hold you and catch you with a certain amount on you, it's okay. They let you go.
But where did you buy that?
But how you get it is illegal. So there's a conflict. So we just need to be realistic. I'm not telling you that I am pro and I want our youth to now go and vote. So don't go twisting my words into anything to help you get the extra vote. I think we need to be serious and mature and really investigate and understand. And you have people like yourself and the other gentleman.
We had Ross Bushman, we had Jay Havasire.
Exactly.
And we even had a doctor from the United States.
Exactly. I think you do your checks and balances. You just make sure your due diligence is done. And then it's something that we look into. So but I'm not cut off. I'm not cut off from everything. And I'm not, no, we're not doing this and no, we're not doing that. We have to think country.
Sure.
We can't think self.
There's a lot of topics I want to touch on, but we have to wrap it up kind of shortly. But something I want to touch on, you and I were speaking off camera prior to this, and a few days ago, a young man who I went to school with and played Little League Baseball with, and we went different paths after that in life, but a young man, Omar Jones, was murdered in the prison the other day. What does that say about our justice system, about our prison, in the way it's maintained, and in general, what kind of statement does that make to the community, and how did this situation affect you?
It affects me personally. Omar is my cousin. Omar and I share the same great-grandparents. I think one of the things, and just to handle this in a very mature and professional manner, because to be honest with you, I'm angry. I'm more angry than I'm sad, and it's not because it's Omar, my cousin, but a year ago we experienced an officer in the line of in the line of duty that also was taken out by the gunshot. I think the fact that a gun was able to get into our prison leaves a lot to be desired as far as our guards are concerned. And then you would look at the director and say, but what is he doing? But then when you look further, you dig further into it, because I am doing my due diligence, and I am understanding that many letters were sent to the minister requesting help for the safety and security of not only the inmates but the guards that work there.
Sure.
These guards work 12-hour shifts on a daily basis.
Sure.
This is personal. This is personal to every single individual in this country. But you want me to tell you what the real problem, Arun? The problem is our members of parliament acting as if they are ministers. So our ministers are just joysticks doing what the member of parliament said because that's my ministry. And that has to stop. It has to stop. Pay attention, Arun, to the people who have caused this country the millions. It is the same individuals every time that are a part of every broken government. Look at where that started. Where did that start? Who were the individuals that started destroying the government thing since 10-10-10? Who are the members of parliament that were there that played an active role in it every single time? Who played a role the most times? And then look at who is the,
Sure.
if we would allow our ministers to be ministers and handle the things that they have to handle, they won't have to neglect the things that they have to handle because they are too busy working on your member of parliament agenda. You understand?
Right.
So I think that's where the problem is. And if you receive letters with the director of the prison asking you for help, asking you to send the Baker S approved for 20. You see, I have the inside scoop on it and I'm coming with it. You understand? So if you have people saying, okay, we are here to use. If you have the Baker S saying, take 20. If you have the director saying, guys, I cannot do this anymore. My guards are working overtime. Minister, I need help. And your minister too busy taking pictures and too busy making all kind of other things because he have to work for his real boss. He can't work for the people of this country.
Yeah, the real boss should be the people of the country.
The real boss should be the people of the country. And that's why the boss needs to pay attention. You understand? And know who not to put back there. It's not personal. Right. You understand? Right. So as far as that whole situation goes, how many lives have to be taken out under your leadership before something is done? Right. It's irresponsible and inconsiderate of our elected and appointed officials.
Wow. We're going to jump to a different topic real quick. China Pearl. Is it a political stunt? Is this real? What's happening? And what are your thoughts? What's your impressions?
The first thing that comes to mind, the first word that comes to mind when I see something like that is apartheid. Google it.
Okay. And one last question I got to ask. What's going on with the government building or the new government building or the abandoned building next to the university? Because you got a university there crying for space and you got a big abandoned building across the street. And
as you can see, it's election time, so that's hot in the rolling. But when you look at things, go a little further. The monies that were used for that, now we are reading in the newspaper that the monies that SZV is allowing, so all of a sudden SZV is a finance company, the biggest finance company on the island. No other bank matters. And apparently the monies that are being used, we are learning now that no, there is no ordinance or regulation in place how to properly execute it, but the way they went about it is also wrong. I think our people are too complacent. We are too comfortable with, look at what's happening there now. We understand, but the truth of the matter is we are doing things in an illegal fashion to get things done fast so that we can get re-elected. I think that building, too many people had the opportunity to fix it. And it's time that, and I know when we were in power, one of the reasons we didn't rush the matter was because, listen, the wires are eating out, the electricity needs to be done over, the building have a lot of issues that need to be fixed. But what they're doing now is polishing up the front of it so it looks pretty for everybody, so we could move in, so we could say, we were the first ones in there, we accomplished the government building. We got to share away from the credit.
It sounds like a further investigation is needed, and I think at the end of the day, somebody should be held accountable.
Yep.
And we could go on and on, but Tamara Leonard, we've got to come to a conclusion. We've got to wrap this up. I wish you the best of luck come September 26th. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, she is the #3 candidate on the United People's Party list.
Yes.
Certainly no stranger to St. Maarten politics, and certainly somebody who's not afraid to speak her mind. Got to respect that, got to love it. Thank you, Tamara. And in conclusion, I'd love for you to say your closing words to the viewers out there. And again, best of luck come election day.
Electorate of St. Maarten, be responsible. Do your research. Realize who has cost us all the millions in throwing down the government. Do not vote for them. Vote for candidate #3 on the United People's Party list. Go out and vote. My name is Tamara Leonard, aka Boshti, the healing remedy for country St. Maarten.
To God be the glory.
To God be the glory.
Give thanks. A pleasure. Absolute pleasure.